This is Audible.
Random House Audio presents The Dark Side, the inside story of how the War on Terror turned into a war on Americanite, by Jane Mayer. Read for you by Richard McGonigal. Chapter 1. Panic. America should go not abroad in search of monsters to destroy. She might become the dictatress of the world. She would no longer be the ruler of her own spirit. John Quincy Adams. An address celebrating the anniversary of independence at the city of Washington on the 4th of July, 1821. If anyone in America should have been prepared to respond to the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001, it ought to have been Vice President Dick Cheney. For decades before the planes hit the Pentagon and the World Trade Center, Cheney had been secretly practicing for doomsday. During the 1980s, while serving as a Republican congressman from Wyoming, and a rising power in the conservative leadership in Congress, Cheney secretly participated in one of the most highly classified, top-secret programs of the Reagan administration. A simulation of survival scenarios designed to ensure the smooth continuity of the U.S. government in the event of all-out nuclear war with the Soviet Union. Every year, usually during congressional recesses, Cheney would disappear in the dead of night. He left without explanation to his wife, Lynn Vincent Cheney, who was given merely a phone number where he could be reached in the event of emergency. Along with some 4 or 5 dozen federal officials, Cheney would pretend for several weeks to be chief of staff to a designated substitute president, bivouacked in some remote location in the United States. As James Mann reveals in The Vulcans, his rich intellectual history of the neoconservative brain trust that has guided Bush foreign policy, the exercise tried to recreate some of the anticipated hardships of surviving a nuclear holocaust. Accommodations were Spartan, and cuisine was barely adequate. Civilian communication systems were presumed destroyed. The challenge was to ensure civil order and control over the military in the event that the elected president and vice president and much of the executive branch were decimated. The Constitution, of course, spells out the line of succession. If the president and vice president are indisposed, then power passes first to the Speaker of the House and next to the President pro tempore of the Senate. But in a secret executive order, President Reagan, who was deeply concerned about the Soviet threat, amended the process for speed and clarity. The secret order established a means of recreating the executive branch without informing Congress that it had been sidestepped or asking for legislation that would have made the new continuity of government plan legally legitimate. Cheney, a proponent of expansive presidential powers, was evidently unperturbed by this oversight. Mann and others have suggested that these doomsday drills were a dress rehearsal for Cheney's calm, commanding performance on 9/11. It was not the first time he had stared into the abyss. One eyewitness who kept a diary said that inside the Presidential Emergency Operations Command, or PEOC, a hardened command center several hundred feet under the by then evacuated White House, Cheney never broke a sweat as he juggled orders to shoot down any additional incoming hijacked planes, coordinated efforts with other cabinet members, most particularly the directors of the FBI and CIA, and resolved issues such as how to avoid charges of taking hostage 2 visiting foreign heads of state from Australia and Lithuania after all air traffic had been shut down. 6 weeks after the attacks on New York and Washington, the Bush administration had successfully restored calm, reassured the financial markets, and rallied the sympathies and support of much of the world. But once again, the White House was plunged into a state of controlled panic. On October 17, 2001, a white powder that had been sent through the U.S. mail to Senate Majority Leader Tom Daschle's office in the Capitol was positively identified. Scientific analysis showed it to be an unusually difficult to obtain prison